Hi guys, Dr. Drone back with another video on the Hobby King trifecta build I got going. It's been a little while since I got around to this. I've been a little busy with my 9-to-5 job, so had a lot of inquiries though on this project I got going. It's my #1 video I got with over 500 views in a couple weeks, so it's getting a lot of hits. So let's get into it here a little bit with what I got already. Depending on what kind of flight controller you're going to use, you have a few little mounting options. I'm actually going to go with a new Hobby King HK Pilot Mini, which is roughly the same size as a CC3D. And I went ahead and just mounted it on a piece of foam with one of these, I think it's 30.5mm diagonal spread FC mounting plate that you get off either eBay or Hobby King or pretty much anywhere nowadays. It's kind of the way to mount your stuff. And then you can even, if you want a little more protection, you can mount it, not in particular with the CC3D with the top mounts, but you can actually invert them because they always come with two. And then encase it, and then you can even mount something else up there if you want. So I'm kind of going with these. Or if you're running something like the Hobby King HK Mini, it actually comes with its own dedicated mounting plate with the kit that goes right in there. One problem I noticed though, if you're going to be running like say the CC3D board, anything basically with a top facing pinout, this cage is pretty much going to be useless. It's right in the way of any of your pins. You'll either have to put it on stilt or just figure out something else. If you're running the, like I say, one of the new mini APM boards, you're not going to have a problem with that. I think it'll be alright too if you get a CC3D with side pins. You should have plenty of room to get in there and work with everything there. So, let's see here. Next thing we'll get into real quick is the GPS. You know, on the standard cage, let me get this thing on here. It's got the GPS actually mounted pretty close to the where the board and the motors are actually going to be. And from my experience, I can't get any good reception unless you're flying somewhere around 3 inches off the board. This is actually the HK Mini board I will be using on my trifecta. Just been kind of experimenting with it a little bit on the Maltese, making sure all the modes work and stuff before I switch over to a tri-frame. But this actually, works pretty good. I was just out testing it over the weekend when I was out of town working, and it's a nice little unit. But like I said, to get the glitch-free GPS, you pretty much got to be a minimum of 3 inches off the board, and it'd probably get even better if you went a little higher. So, the thing will look a little weird if you go too high on this frame, but do what you can do if you're going to run a GPS. I think most people are just going to run this as an acro setup, and they're just probably going to use a a simple CC3D board or a NACE 32, just to kind of keep things simple and lightweight. So depending on if you're running whatever setup, since I'm going with an APM, I'm actually just running a power module that I kind of did a little DIY modification to. I switched it from the 12 gauge wiring to some 14 gauge wiring, since we're only going to be running 3 2208 motors at the most. This will be sufficient enough to transmit that much amperage and power. Plus it was just the lightest setup to go with. You could get the little you can get like a little board, power distribution board, but pretty much everything else that went in there was a little bit bigger and heavier. So yeah, if you're looking to get voltage and amperage sensing, this is kind of the easiest way to do it. If not, you're just running powering your flight controller off a BEC from one of your ESCs, you can just pretty much make a simple little splitter harness that would just come in here, and then just basically just solder all your ESC power leads right into a main power lead for your battery, and that's pretty much it, and close the door on that. So big thing though everybody's kind of wanting to know about is, what do you do with your whole tail section? Not much room back here. The servos, there's only a couple of them I've pretty much found that you can get to work on here. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. So, I actually found a Hobby People HPA9N light micro servo. I'm not sure if it was actually the right spline count or not, but I jammed the thing on there and it's screwed in there. It's probably a little bit weak for what the trifecta is going to want to be spec'd for, but I'll give you some feedback when I get back to it. So, here's what I got going on here. There wasn't a whole lot of room in here. So, what you got to do is, I went ahead and stripped down my ESC and then soldered my power leads directly into it. And this is an Afro 12 amp ESC, and it pretty much just barely fits in there. So that's pretty much like the maximum specs on the width of ESC you can use. And again, this one I even took the wrapper off of because it was a little hard to get it in there with it on there after I had resoldered everything. But yeah, I had to eliminate like bullet connectors and stuff. There just wasn't room in here for it all. And then to power the rear servo, I went ahead and just tied into the power lead from the BEC of my ESC. Now you don't need the ground wires to go up to the your board because you're going to be sharing a common ground through the power lead of your ESC. So this has worked for me before on like RC car projects and all kinds of stuff I've done before. But for some reason, if you do run into a problem where you're not receiving the signal, all you got to do is tap into the ground and then connect your ground also to your flight controller. Do not connect the positive, and that'll pretty much definitely loop the connection for sure. So, if anybody else has any questions, let me know. It'll be a little while before I get this thing flying. I'm still kind of screwing around with a few other projects. I just recently got an axial Yeti. I race RC cars from time to time, so this is kind of one of my next projects I got going. But I'm a little tied up with other things, but I definitely want to get this thing flying. I have a few clients who are dying to see this thing in action. They like the size of it when it's all folded up, so everybody's a little curious to see what it can do once it gets going. I'm looking to run it with the GPS and an APM controller. That way it's pretty much got all the bells and whistles you'd want in a nice compact size. I'm going to try and run 8-inch propellers. That way I can carry possibly a custom-made lightweight servo gimbal for my Mobius camera. That'll be stripped down as well. So I got high hopes to try and make like a nice little micro HD recording unit with this. So keep posted and see what I come up with in the end. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice one. Keep it flying.